Welcome back, everybody. This is the NASCAR 1-Up Retro round number 17 at Kansas Speedway here with Duke Anzac alongside me. I'm Griff McDermott. Now, looking at the front of the field, you can see Justin Hutchinson taking the pole in dominating fashion. He just crushed everybody in qualifying. It makes no surprise considering he's the king of the mile and a half. Duke, well, let me just ask you. Are we going to see him dominate all the way, or do you expect to see someone new come out and take over the king of the mile and a half's role?
Well, from what I've seen in a lot of these races so far is that you get comers and goers sometimes. So I think that he's probably going to be tough to. I wouldn't count out a lot of those other guys that want to beat him and maybe coming up through the pack in the middle and the end of the race.
Absolutely, and with each lane here being an opportunity to pass, you can definitely get some side-by-side racing, and with qualifying taking place a short time ago, we can give you the starting lineup now. And as we mentioned, Justin Hutchinson puts himself on pole position for the first time this season, with King alongside him. He had a good run at Charlotte, so expect him to be a challenger. Chris Maley and Joshua Michaels are in row 2. Bit of a surprise to see them up there. They're not known to be good qualifiers, but they showed it. They showed their stuff here today, and a lot of big names throughout the field. What do you think we should be keeping our eye on? Should we? You said there were comers and goers in this race, but what do you expect us to see? As we may have pit strategy play a factor in who settles this race.
Yeah, I think that definitely a pit stop is going to shake up the order. It's going to all depend on how well you get onto the pit lane and how well your crew does in the pits, of course. So a lot of time to be gained in the pits because it's a lot easier to pass people in the pits. And don't count out maybe a few yellows coming your way. It's a big track. It's a fast track. And, these cars, they don't always go straight all the time. So I think it's going to definitely be a good race. And I'm excited to see it.
And with that being said, the cars are lined up. We're ready to go racing, and we will take you to the green flag as soon as the cars are lined up. And the field's already roaring off into turn 1 with Justin Hutchinson leading King on the high side, with Chris Maley and Joshua Michaels side by side off of 2, and it looks like Hutchinson's going to get a bit of a lead going down the back straightaway for the first time.
Yeah, you want to look for people who are running the outside lane. They might get a little bit of momentum down the straightaways, and that's going to be the best way to utilize that second lane because obviously the shortest way around the track is likely going to be the fastest today.
And with Hutchinson leading lap 1, we're now side by side for second with Chris Maley on the inside of King. King's going to drop back a little bit because Michaels is going to get a run as well. King's got to find a hole to get down to the bottom pretty quickly unless he's going to drop down further back into the pack, as you see Jack Porkins lining up to pass him as well.
Yeah, right now the outside lane is not looking too good. They're getting freight trained out there a little bit. There, he finally got down into line on the bottom.
Until Dale Johnson put a move on him to slide him back up the track again, and now King's going to drop back another spot as we've got trouble in the back straight in turn 2. There's 2 cars into the wall, and it looks like it's Ben McDonald in the 12. His car is done already, and Arthur Xavier plows into the 12. I'm not sure what happened there. We're gonna have to take another look at this because something must have happened here. John Martin, the points leader's involved. This is gonna be significant for the points battle shaping up here to see what happened to these cars. So you see McDonald down on the apron. I'm not sure what happened there to cause that, but you can see it looks like he had an issue with the car, and then it just collects Xavier and Martin. McDonald must have had some issue with the car because I'm not sure what happened there to cause that. And then you see Xavier coming in to voice his displeasure about the incident. I'm not sure that'll sit well with the officials, but it looks like all 3 cars are done for the day already.
Yeah, it almost looked like the 12 had some kind of left front flat, maybe a left front suspension issue down the front straightaway he was on. He goes down there.
Yeah, let's take you back a little further in this incident. You see they're 3 wide already, and it looks like he had a problem right there. He goes down onto the apron, but he's just carrying too much speed, and there he goes into the outside wall with Martin along for the ride. Xavier's getting piled in the back. And then Xavier comes up to show his displeasures to the 12.
Yeah, not happy at all.
And it looks like all 3 cars are going to be done for the race at just lap number 3. As you see several cars come off the pit lane to cycle out pit stops. It looks like the entire field came in actually to top off their fuel and pick up and get a fresh set of tires on their cars as well. So, and it looks like Jack Porkins has taken over the race lead from Justin Hutchinson on the cycle of stops. So it's Porkins in the lead. Alexa Lutchen is second, with Richard Herman third. Hutchinson's back in fourth position, and Maley is fifth. So it looks like Porkins, Lutchen, and Herman must have done something different from the leaders. Maybe they took 2 tires, or maybe they just took fuel only to try and get out in front. But we'll see what happens when these cars get up to speed. We'll see how they fare against the guys behind them that took 4.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering if maybe Hutchinson also he could have had just a bad pit stop right there. Maybe a slower pit stop than these guys ahead of him. He lost a lot of track position there, so we'll see how it plays out.
Well, he did come out ahead of Maley, Michaels, Johnson.
Yeah.
He came out ahead of all those guys, and he was racing them for position. And while Porkins and Lutchen, they were in the top 10 prior to pit stops, Richard Herman was definitely not. He was mired back in the pack, so they must have been doing a contrarian strategy to what the leaders were doing, and it's definitely got him out front right now.
For sure. So
the light's out on the pace car. It gets the 1 to go signaled, which means we're going green next time by. Yeah, looking at the qualifying order, Herman actually started 11th. Never scratch what I said earlier. He was running right around where Lutchen and Porkins were. So these 3 must have taken 2 tires on the stop. And Hutchinson, Maley, Michaels, and Johnson, they all took 4. So it's going to be interesting to see how this scratches out coming to the restart here.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. I mean, they were only out there for about 3 laps on those fresh tires. Taking 2 might not have been a really bad call here. I think it might work out for these guys.
We'll see what happens as the field rolls through 3 and 4. The pace car is getting ready to pull off, and we're going to get ready to restart this thing on lap number 8 out of 67. Pace car is making its way down pit road. Jack Porkins is in control of the field, and he is going to take us to the restart. And we are back to racing here at Kansas Speedway, and Porkins gets the jump on Lutchen and Herman going down number 1. It appears that their 2 tires are working out. So far, so good.
Yeah, it looked like the 53 had a little bit of contact with the wall. I don't think it'll just a kiss.
It appears he's shaking it off pretty well as he hangs on the 3rd, but Justin Hutchinson's right on his bumper, and those 4 fresh tires are going to play a big factor in that as well, as Porkins comes across the line to lead lap 8 with Lutchen hot on his heel. And as I was saying, Justin Hutchinson gets around Herman, and so will Chris Maley. So put Hutchinson back in the 3rd. He's on the charge, back to the lead.
Yeah, the 53 was in the worst position of those guys that did the 2-tire strategy there, because he was the first one to get passed by all these guys with fresher tires behind him.
And coming off of 4, Hutchinson's got a bit of a gap ahead to Lutchen and Porkins as we see a lead change of building here. Alexa Lutchen's going to try and take the lead for herself underneath Jack Porkins. They're side by side off of turn 2. We'll see who can get the advantage on this drag race down into turn 3.
That's going to really slow these guys down and let the 28 of Hutchinson catch up real quick, because they're punching a huge hole in the air right now.
And it looks as though the outside will prevail for Porkins as it starts to rubber in a little bit as the 16 noses out in front of the 50 going into turn 1 and 2. It's still side by side, and that's allowing Justin Hutchinson to close right back into this battle.
Yeah, and the 16 took a really wide entry there and is able to clear the 50. Man, is that close on the backstretch in the line there.
Yeah, definitely, as Jack Porkins comes off of turn 4 with the lead, but Lutchen's got a battle on her hands as Justin Hutchinson and Chris Maley, these cars on fresh tires are just starting to go through.
Oh, 3 wide through the corner.
It's still 3 wide now. It's settled back down to 2 now as Hutchinson moves into 2nd. Lutchen's now battling Maley for 3rd position, as now only 1 car separates Justin Hutchinson from the lead, and that's Jack Porkins in the 16. What will Hutchinson do once he catches him? it's not a matter of if but when, as Hutchinson's got much fresher tires on his Ford.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised of how well those tires are working out. As you see the 28 making a move for the lead. I don't think it worked out right there, but it wasn't a lot of laps on the tires, but they have made a big difference here early in this race.
And as you can see, Porkins extends his lead a little bit. It's a full car length now over Hutchinson. But Hutchinson's going to try and get after him once again, and the gap is shrinking. It's down to less than a tenth of a second as they barrel off into turn one. Porkins and Hutchinson nose to tail. I'm curious how long these two tires will hold out for Jack Porkins. He's doing a pretty good job of hanging in there right now, but Justin Hutchinson is doing a masterful job of tracking him down.
Yeah, I'm wondering how long it's going to take until these tires start to equalize. And as I say that, here comes the 28 for the lead down the front stretch. He's going to side draft across the start-finish line.
If only that was the finish of the race, that would have been a wonderful drag race to the line. But now Hutchinson is well out in front of Jack Porkins, and he's about to fall into the clutches of Alexa Lutchen as well, as she's going to try and make a move for second, because Chris Maley hasn't been able to get by these two yet.
Yeah, well, now that they're side by side, it's probably, well, they're not side by side anymore. 16 is really making that outside lane work pretty well for those tires that he's on.
Much better than Lutchen's, as she's going to fall victim to Chris Maley and Joshua Michaels. They were 3 wide for a second, but now it's settled back down to double wide with Maley on the outside of Michaels as Lutchen slips back to 5th. Those two tires are seemingly not an issue to her, as she's going to try and make a pass on Michaels, but Michaels shuts the door on her.
Yeah, they really tried to send it in there to get on the bottom, and it stuck, but it didn't really help her out all that much. We're still watching these battles. Oh, is that Porkins going for the lead here on the old tires?
Yeah, but Hutchinson shut the door on him. We're going to see that a lot in this race, is you're going to get a run into the corner, but if the car in front can react and shut the door on you, you're going to go nowhere quickly.
And I really have to mention that the draft right now is huge for these guys. It's keeping everyone connected and together, and it's allowing the 16 to, even on old tires, to catch up to the 28, and he's able to make those moves at the end of the straightaway. IndyCar style, actually.
And remember, we are under the lights here at Kansas. The track temperature is a lot cooler than if this were during the day. A lot more grip available to these cars as they sail it off into turn 3 once again.
Absolutely. I'm looking to see that 44 try to make a charge to the front. I think that if there's somebody today that's going to beat the 28, I think it would be the 44. I think that they're about equal right now. They've got the 16 between them on older tires, but
Maley's so far not been able to do much with Porkins. So unless Porkins bobbles a little bit, Maley's going to be stuck behind him. But I have also noticed that Justin Hutchinson isn't really pulling away either.
Yeah, as you say that, those other cars go out of the picture. But I think that Hutchinson, maybe he's saving his stuff a little bit, or maybe he's just not working quite as good in clean air, which is interesting. Usually it's the opposite of that. Here we got the 44 making a move down into 3.
And once again, Porkins shuts the door on him. That, like what I've said, you're going to get a run, but if the other car reacts first, you're going to be without help here. As the 44 tries to get under the 16, it's not going to work, and Porkins holds the spot.
Yeah, these two are really close to each other coming through the corners. The 44 needs to go. He's knocking on
side by side, potentially going into 3, but it appears right now that Maley's not going to be able to make it stick as Porkins continues to hold the position as Lutchen tries to peek underneath Michaels for 4th. On her old tires, she appears to be holding her own in 5th, and she's going for 4th under Michaels, and it looks like she's going to get it too.
Oh yeah, that was a good move from the power move, I'd say.
Looking back through the rest of the top 10 now, you see Sam Donotto in 10th, battling Jeffrey Finguy in 11th. They're fighting for the 10th position. A lot of battles going on through field, and it would be an injustice not to show all of our cars battling for position here in this race, as we're about a third of the way through here. As you see this side-by-side battle between Michael Edwards, Jake McMillan, Kevin Carter, Jacob Johnson, Lane Sanders, Cal Farrell, Nick Ortiz. Man, there's a lot of cars battling for position here in the midfield.
This is a gaggle. Absolute gaggle of cars right here.
And remember, Cal Farrell started last in this race, so he's making some great headway in that 96 to get to the front as McMillan falls victim to Sanders and Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. This is some great racing. We've got 2 grooves. Well, everybody's kind of slowing up through that corner right there. But
yeah, I believe we may see a yellow soon because all the cars seem to be slowing down at an equal rate. As we see, the pace car is out, so we do see a caution, and it appears to be the 30 of Ryan Caggiano that was involved in this one. He was doing well in the points too. We'll have to see what happened to him here to bring out this yellow flag. All right, you see him here with the 75 and the 72. Oh, and Mashburn sends it in way too deep, and he just collects the 30 and gets Caggiano loose and into the wall. So, unfortunate break for the 30. He should be able to keep going, though, with a little bit of time on pit road to repair it. But his chances of winning have pretty much gone down the tubes here. Tough break, though. Mashburn just sent it in way too deep for that particular scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that Mashburn was quite lucky there. They kind of got hooked together, the cars did, and then once they finally separated, Mashburn was able to save it and keep on going, probably with minimal damage from that, but victimized are the others involved.
So as you see, the pace cars picked up Justin Hutchinson. He will be the leader. Missing from the top 10 is Jack Porkins, who was out there on those 2 tires in second place. He must have come down pit road to address an issue. Something under the hood, it looks like, because Porkins has now dropped way to the back of the field. He's listed in 38th spot right now. So something must have happened to the 16 that they needed to address immediately on pit road.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if maybe it's just part of that strategy that they were doing. I can't imagine that, though. I mean, I don't know if these cars can make it to the end that are staying out right now. So
it's going to be an interesting battle to last the distance on this tank of fuel, because everybody pitted on lap 5. I'm not sure if they can make 62 laps, although these caution laps are helping.
Absolutely, they are. I think that the 16 definitely is in a better position than these guys. If these guys make it, obviously the 16 is not gonna be able to have much of a shot, unless of course those fresh tires are that beneficial, in which case he'll be able to drive up through the field.
And there he is with Caggiano catching up to the back of the field. Is Jack Porkins. Tough break for the 16. He was doing really well up at the front of the field, and I'm curious to see if those fresh tires will make a difference. Remember, when he was out on old tires, he was still racing guys pretty hard. So I'm curious to see if this will actually pay off for him.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting little situation there. Just another wrench in this race that's been pretty good so far.
And with a couple cautions under our belt, we can now give you the running order. At the top 10, Justin Hutchinson is still your leader, dominating the early goings of this race. Chris Maley in second, Alexa Lutch in third on those old tires. Joshua Michaels in fourth, Dale Johnson fifth, King is sixth in the 18, Zach Fitzwater is seventh. Richard Herman on old tires as well has dropped back to 8th position. Sam Donato is 9th, and Henry Thomas in the number 1 rounds out your top 10 with Michael Edwards in the 21 not far behind him. So, with that being said, the lights appear to be out on the pace car, so we will be going green this time by. I'm curious if, now that Jack Porkins is out of the picture, if Chris Maley will have anything for Justin Hutchinson here.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. The 44 has looked strong so far in this race. I think that if he gets enough of a draft down one of these straightaways, he'll be able to make a move, and then it's up to the 28 car to try to pass the 44 at that point.
Hutchinson's had the dominant car so far this race. I'm curious to see if Melee, Lutchen, or Michaels will have anything for him as we're coming around to take the restart here. Hutchinson's had nothing but clean air this entire time, so I'm curious if he gets back in traffic, how his car will handle differently.
Yeah, from what I saw in the last restart, the 28 handles well in the traffic and out.
And with the pace car pulling off, leaves us in the hands of Justin Hutchinson. He leads us back to the green flag, and he instantly gets a 2-car length jump on Chris Maley coming out of the tri-oval. Michaels takes a peek to the outside, stays in line. Sam Donotto takes a peek on Richard Herman on the inside going into turn 1, but Hutchinson's got a 2-car length lead on Maley coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, this might not be terribly beneficial. The 28 is still close enough for the 44 to draft. We'll see if the 44 is able to catch up on these long straightaways. Here he comes.
Down to the inside.
Oh, this is a move.
Down to the inside. Chris Maley's making a move on Justin Hutchinson. They're side by side going into the tri-oval, coming out, going into turn 1, and it looks like Chris Maley's going to sail on by and take the lead for the first time today.
Wow. That was a power move coming out of 4 right there.
And with Justin Hutchinson now in second, I'm curious how his car will handle differently because he hasn't really been in dirty air that much today. And I'm curious to see if these other cars will get a run on him or if he can take the lead back from Chris Maley or not. He's going to make a move here.
Oh, here it is.
He's going to make a move, and it looks like it's going to stick with help from Alexa Lutchen. Justin Hutchinson's going to get a run, but it looks like Maley's going to have just enough momentum to stay side by side, but for how long is the question.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting watching the outside lane work, and he got the help from the 50 car, so we'll see. He's got to run.
But Maley's making the high side work just like Porkins did, and he will hold on to lead this lap. And Hutchinson tucks in right behind, and they go sailing off into turn 1 again with Maley holding a decisive lead over Justin Hutchinson, but that could change at any moment.
Yeah, that was another power move coming off of turn 4 there. That 44 car is looking better and better every lap they come around.
Yeah, his car seems to be better as the track cools off, going later into the night here. Now it seems to suit his car better than the 28. But we'll see what happens as Hutchinson continues to make moves to try and get by the 44. But Maley's starting to stretch it out a little bit. He's getting a bit of a lead here.
Yeah, and of course the 28 car. Oh, well, I was just about to say that he hasn't lost any more positions in dirty air, but now the 50 is trying to make a move on him.
And there's no one else in sight for Chris Maley as he powers off the corner, and he will lead lap number 34 of the day as Hutchinson manages to hold off Lutchen for the time being. But there's still a hungry pack of cars behind him as Maley's lead is about half a second now. This is about as big as we've seen it all day.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, that this is interesting because the draft is so powerful down those straightaways, and of course, you know, you expect those cars to kind of suck up right up to one another, but this is the first time we've seen today that somebody's kind of pulled out and got a gap on.
But Hutchinson is starting to close back in on Chris Maley now as they're starting to get bumper to bumper once again. They're coming off turn 2, and the gap is shrinking. Now it's down to just a quarter of a second as we look back at Joshua Michaels and the side-by-side battle behind him between Dale Johnson in the 25 and Alexa Lutchen in the 50. That's for 4th position. But ahead of them, it's still the Justin Hutchinson and Chris Maley show out in front.
Absolutely. Here's a move for the lead. It's not quite enough for the 28. It's close, though. Just as soon as we were talking about that big lead that the 44 was starting to get, it's gone. Hutchinson is there.
Yeah, the top 7 seem to have extended a big gap over 8th place Sam Donotto, going all the way back to Michael Edwards in 7th. It's a 7-car breakaway right now out front, but that could change as the run goes on. There could be some, like you said at the top of the show, there's some comers and some goers, and one comer right now is Dale Johnson. He just passed 3 cars in the tri-oval, and he's up to 3rd now.
That was incredible. He's going for another down the back.
This 25 car looks like it's on a rail here.
Yeah, that was incredible. All of a sudden, he's got a lot of speed, and it was really close with him in the 28 right there. This is going to slow this whole group down, and this is exactly what the 44 wants to see while he's out front.
Absolutely, as they get so close to the wall, and Hutchinson's going to drop back to 2nd. with Dale Johnson now cementing himself in second place, going to go chase after Chris Maley. But right now, Hutchinson's got to deal with Alexa Lutchen, who's hanging on. He was hanging tough there despite her older tires. Still
absolutely
on the 50.
Very impressive, that 50 car making that move. But the 25 out of nowhere all of a sudden is going for the lead.
Dale Johnson in the 25 is flexing his muscles here as he powers by Chris Maley, and Hutchinson's going to try and follow along in the 28, but it looks like it's not going to work as Dale Johnson turns on the afterburners, and he's
goodness,
and he's through to the lead here. We've got a new challenger here.
Yeah, that was incredible. I don't know if I've ever seen someone come up through the pack like that so quickly in such a short amount of time. All of a sudden, I mean, this is just incredible. We've got a damage report here on the 30.
The 30's had that damage for a while. Yeah. They're coming up to lap him, though, and that could play
interesting.
And that could play a factor in this battle for the lead. If Johnson can get around Caggiano well, and if the 30 holds up Maley and Hutchinson, this could play to the 25's advantage.
Yeah, the 25 is so good exiting turn 4 right now. And that's, if you remember, that's where the 44 was beating Hutchinson earlier too. So that's kind of the spot where if you're really good off of 4, that's making the difference.
And look at Zach Fitzwater. He was back in that second pack as well, and now he's made a charge up to third as well. Chris Maley on the bumper at Dale Johnson for the lead. This is going to get interesting coming off of 4. They're both real good here. But it looks like Johnson's just a little bit better as he starts to pull away.
Yeah, Johnson's definitely better right now, but this lap car is going to throw a wrench in all the plans.
Definitely, as Caggiano is running about 0.8 of a second a lap slower than the leaders right now. He's got an ailing car, and it doesn't look like he's going to pull over and let the leaders pass. He's going to fight to stay on this lead lap. He may already be a lap down, in which case he really doesn't want to lose a second one.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting going into 1. 25 is going to go low.
But Caggiano shuts the door on him once again, like we've seen in the previous few races, as Maley and Fitzwater go side by side for second behind him. Hutchinson slips to 5th now behind Joshua Michaels. But now Dale Johnson is going to try and work on Caggiano, and coming off of turn 4, he should be able to power by very easily.
Oh, yeah. Easily by the 30. He got held up for a little bit there, but luckily those two behind him were punching a big old hole in the air, and they're not going any quicker. So,
and now with them side by side, this could play a big factor as well, because Caggiano is going to block one of their lines. The question is which one, as they go single file now to try and deal with that lap car. As Justin Hutchinson's starting to drop back a bit, he's gone all the way back now to 7th, as Michael Edwards, in just his second career start, is moved up to 6th now.
Yeah, this is big. And then, of course, we have to look at the Hutchinson back there. He's fallen, just like we were talking about earlier. With running in traffic is so much different than running out in front air. He was so strong when he was the leader, but now that he's gotten behind, he's just not able to make it.
And now Dale Johnson has extended his lead to the biggest lead we've seen all race long here. It's about 0.6 of a second now, and he's not showing any signs of slowing down, as he's got a really big lead now as we're approaching 20 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, that's incredible. It was like he hit a switch, and all of a sudden that car was a rocket ship all the way up through the pack, and he's pulling away.
And with Chris Maley settling now into second position, can Maley run down Johnson in these closing 20 laps? The gap shrunk a little bit. He gained about 2/100ths there, but that's not going to be enough if he wants to catch the 25, because that Dale Johnson machine is on the rail.
He is flying right now. I can't even believe that. The 44, though, is holding steady now. We'll see what the interval is as they come across the line here. The 59 has fallen back a little bit. He's caught up a little bit. So yeah, holding steady the 44 is, now that he's not battling with the 59.
Yeah, Maley took out another 0.5 tenth there, and if he keeps doing that, he may gain on Johnson, and he could get there. But the question is now, is there enough time? And does Maley have enough speed to catch Dale Johnson in these closing laps?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We'll watch the interval here again. Oh, it's closed even more. I think he might be starting to sniff a little bit of draft too.
And with the dirty air though, it's got to play a factor here as Johnson powers off quarter down the long back straightaway here. That gap is closing, and both Maley and Fitzwater are capitalizing on this. The question is now, when Dale Johnson gets caught, how will they race each other differently as opposed to earlier when Johnson's powered by as we go on board now with Chris Maley for a couple laps around Kansas.
Yeah, we're going to see the 44. I was going to say he's taking a different line because he didn't want the dirty air, but he's actually got the 59 snuffed up in the bottom there. We're going to see that might have actually helped him through that corner, not having to follow the 25 tire tracks. That's going to be good because he's not getting all that dirty air and he's able to pop and keep all of his downforce. Let's see. He's falling back to about a half second again. So we'll see. He's gained a lot of time going into one.
It looks like he's getting more time on the back straightaway. That nutrient Chevrolet is getting a lot closer in the windshield. Wow. And running just a slightly higher line than the 25 may give him a little bit of an advantage here as they come off the corner. Down this long, down the full straightaway. And that lead has been cut in half.
Wow. Yeah, so much power with the draft. He's able to slice through the air, and he's
yeah, Chris Maley is there. The question is, can he make the pass? Because Dale Johnson is going to try and make that car as wide as possible to try and prevent the 44 from getting around him.
Absolutely is. And so far, the 25 hasn't really had a challenger. Once he got the lead, he kind of pulled away, and now this is going to be the first time that he's having to and make sure that nobody can get by him. So we'll see what he can do here.
Making their way down the back straightaway, looking back through the rest of the field, you see Blair running in the top 10 in the 69. This is her best run of the season. She's going to try and pick up a top 10. She hasn't done that since the season opener at Daytona, so she's looking for a good run as Cal Farrell makes his way up into the top 10. He started dead last, remember, and good runs from all these guys.
Yeah, this is another gaggle here, and the 28 is about to lose out on the top 10.
What was the dominant car early in this race is now going to fall outside the top 10 here as Stephen Gale and Jacob Johnson go past the 28. Tough outing for Hutchinson. He dominated early, but he just hasn't been able to, he doesn't have that long run speed, I guess, that all these other cars have.
Yeah, that's interesting, and of course these guys are going by the lap car, the number 30 right now. Oh, and there has been a pass for the...
While we were looking in on those battles for position, we saw Chris Maley take the lead back from Dale Johnson. My apologies. We've got two Johnsons in this field, and they're both doing well today, so it's a bit tough to get them in check. As Chris Maley takes the lead back, and he takes it with coming to 10 laps to go. Chris Maley may put himself in a good position here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this 25 car can do within earlier in this race, we saw him drive up and pass like 25 cars or something crazy like that in the span of a couple laps. So we'll see if he can get back up there and do the same thing with this leader.
Definitely, as you see Chris Maley take the lead back, and Johnson's starting to close back, and he's going to make a move here. But Maley slams the door, but he left the door open for Johnson, but Maley's so good on the high side. We've not seen anybody run that well on the high side but for Chris Maley in this race, and that may pay dividends for him as he's going to try and get his second win of the season here.
Yeah, this race definitely is far from over, though. The 25 once more. Here comes that great run out of turn 4.
And he's going to make him.
Here we go.
He's going to make a move, and Maley has to give him space, but Maley's got that great speed off the corner on the high side that Johnson can't really do anything with him here. As now it's become a 5-car battle. You see Farrell in there, you see Michaels and Fitzwater there as well. This could become a 5-car battle for the lead if these two aren't careful.
Yeah, all of these guys have a chance at it now. Now that these two are racing each other, they're slowing down just like earlier, and we've got another move from the 25. He's not going to be able to pass in turn 1 and 2 with how good the 44 is off of that corner. But
Yeah.
these guys from behind, they want some of the action.
Yeah, and remember, Farrell started back in 42nd, so a good run from him, but he wants more as he's going to try and get underneath Fitzwater. But look at Johnson starting to lose ground to Chris Maley as now the gap starts to grow. It's about 0.2 of a second, but here comes Michaels underneath Johnson for second place, and Cal Farrell's making a move with Gale as well.
Wow. This has become every time we went back in the pack and we were looking at those guys racing, that's what this race for the lead looks like right now. Big gag and the 96. I mean, what about that? We were just watching him.
And look at him. He's going to go for the lead right here.
Oh, my goodness.
Cal Farrell takes the lead.
Wow. What a move.
From last to first, Cal Farrell through to the lead, and he turned on the afterburners like Johnson did earlier. He and Stephen Gale have taken over this race, and with just a handful of laps to go, I don't know if anyone can catch him.
And speaking of Johnson, he's fallen down to 6th place, and maybe he burnt up his stuff a little bit. That's always a possibility, but this 96 car all of a sudden is looking like he's going to be a favorite to win in the closing laps.
He's pulling away from Stephen Gale as well. This could be our first ever last-to-first victory here in the 1UP Retro Cup Series as Cal Farrell is extending his lead over Stephen Gale. What a day for Cal Farrell if he can pull this off.
Yeah, and of course, it's not over till it's over, but right now for the 96 car, it is looking really good not seeing any cars in the windshield.
Not seeing anyone ahead of him or behind him. Look at that lead. It's up to 0.7 of a second. That's as high as we've seen it. And look at Michaels is 1.5 back. There's no stopping Cal Farrell. Look at the lead he's built.
Wow, this is incredible. I'm wondering if maybe he's just saved his tires, just bided his time, saved his tires, and then time to go. End of the race, it's time to go, and he has passed everyone on this track.
Coming to 4 laps to go now, and Cal Farrell can see the victory in his sights, but he's got to keep an eye out for Stephen Gale because he lost a 10th there. But I wouldn't be too worried if I was Cal Farrell. I'd just run my line, stay up front. And look at Blair in the 69. She's at the 3rd in this race.
We were watching these people fight for top 10s earlier, and all of a sudden, they are now leading this race, and they have put the people that were leading before to shame.
Yeah, Maley's dropped to 5th. Dale Johnson's all the way back now to 6th. As Maley drops to 7th now. Hutchinson's back in 10th. But Cal Farrell is rim riding this place. He's on a tear. And coming to 2 laps to go, can anyone stop him?
I don't know, that 52 has been steadily catching up the last couple of laps. So we'll see. Maybe he's going to start to sniff a draft, and he's going to have something to say before this is all over.
Yeah, but the question is, can he pass Cal Farrell? Because catching him's one thing, passing him's another. As Cal Farrell now takes 2 laps to go, they're going to come
there.
Yeah, this is going to be a big battle for the win. These two are on the back row of this field, and now they're going to fight for the win. Coming to the white flag this time, Cal Farrell could pull off the upset here. As he's going down onto the inside, he's going there. So he's slowing.
Whoa, what a move!
He's slowing.
Oh, no, the 96 has to pit.
He's out of fuel. Cal Farrell, heartbreak for the 96.
Goodness.
And Stephen Gale's going to take the white flag. 1 lap of racing to go. A lot of cars on pit road now. They just couldn't make it at 1 lap they needed. Coming off the corner. And Stephen Gale's going to win this race. I don't think Joshua Michaels can catch him.
No, not at all. We had totally forgotten the racing was so good. We had totally forgotten about the pit strategy, and boy, oh boy, has it paid off for the 52 car.
Stephen Gale has won a thriller at Kansas, and heartbreak for Cal Farrell. You see him coming out of the pits there. From last place to first place, with a win in his sights, the white flag in his vision, and he's saddled with a 32nd place finish.
Oh my goodness. That one's going to be tough to swallow for the 90. He saved up his stuff, he used it at the end, and it was perfect, and now he's crossing the line.
Tough break, and behind him you saw the 69 of Blair. She also ran out of gas, so her first top 5 of the season is for naught, as she's going to cross the line in the 30s as well. Joshua Michaels gets his best finish of the season in 2nd. Zach Fitzwater 3rd. Dale Johnson with his first top 5 of his career in 4th place. Seth Taylor made his way up to 5th. We hadn't talked about him all day, but he made his way up late. Chris Maley faded to 6th at the end. Alexa Lutch in 7th. Bobo Jones, with all the cars pitting at the end, moved up to 8th. Jacob Johnson 9th. And Justin Hutchinson, your pole sitter, rounds out your top 10. This race has been a thriller, and I'm really looking forward to the next race. Remember, we're going dirt racing next time out at Springfield. The Springfield Mile. We're going to have special coverage of our heat races on our last chance qualifier. I'll be with you for that race by myself to cover the heat races and last chance qualifier. But don't worry, we'll have Ryan Caggiano in the booth with us for the main event, and you won't want to miss that.
Absolutely. This has been a fantastic race. It was totally awesome to watch these guys run 2 lines at Kansas, and then at the end it just got crazy with the pit strategy, the people running out of the fuel, and man, oh man, what a thriller today.
And what could have been for Cal Farrell, but he showed the speed, and he'll get one before the season's out, I'm sure. From Duke and Zach and myself, congratulations to your 3rd 2-time winner of the season, Stephen Gale, in the 52 Flex Seal Dodge.